And then 2022 is going to be a make or break because hopefully, fingers crossed now, it's taken way too long. And I'm always critical on CGC. And let me know down in the comments why you think I'm such a bad person. I'm always critical of the CGC. But hopefully, 2022 brings what we've been waiting for now for what seems like forever, those CGC pop reports. I think it took a lot of people to start grading with CGC, including myself, to realize that, yes, while CGC is a good grader in certain aspects, they are an extremely harsh grader. So we'll start to see those pop reports come out, and we'll start to see like how many 9s, how many 9.5s, and those very, very rare CGC 10s. Like, how many of those cards really truly exist on the market? I'm going to tell you right now, I think we as a hobby are going to be extremely shocked at how very little bit of CGC 10s there are across the board. Doesn't matter the set, doesn't matter the card. And then we're going to be able to compare those pop reports to the more well-established pop report, which is PSA. Now, what I am most afraid of, and this is definitely a thing that honestly, I don't like to use the word afraid on this channel, because I think that's like, I don't know, the thought process that goes behind saying you're afraid of anything in the Pokemon hobby is like kind of BS. But honestly, I'm afraid that the demand for CGC graded cards will drop so drastically low that CGC will start to give out 10s way more. And yes, I say give out 10s with quotations a lot more, meaning they'll be more like willy-nilly with their 10s. Maybe we won't see a lot of CGC perfect 10s, but we may see a way more pristine 10s, you know, like the 3 10s with a 9.5. Now, if that's the case, the reason why I say I'm afraid about that most is because that means that every single person who graded with CGC up until they potentially get very like low and PSA starts opening up the lower tiers, because you got to keep in mind, CGC, I'm sure during 2020, 2021, were growing their staff at exponential rates, trying to keep up with demand. So they're going to start to have a ton of employees, very similar to PSA. So CGC is going to be able to turn and burn through a lot of cards much faster. And if the demand drops, they're probably going to say, why is the demand low? And they're going to say, well, the demand's a little bit lower because our cards are not holding a premium opposed to a PSA, because PSA does give that gem mint 10 grade. Now, if they start to give out some of these pristine 10s for cards that maybe in the past might have earned those pristine 10s, the reason why I say I'm afraid is because it's going to be a huge detriment to literally every single person who has ever graded with CGC in the past and did not get those 10s. Because you know as well as I do, a CGC 10 will sell greater than a 9.5. And if a 9.5 we graded last year would now grade a 10, it's not fair to people. That's one of like the big things that's why I say I'm actually afraid of that. Now, you can tell me if you like agree with that or not, or maybe that's just preposterous, and you're gonna probably be like, listen, Knowledge, honestly, on every single stream, you somehow bash CGC. And I know, you're probably right. Can't help it. Can't help it. I don't like it. I used to like it. I don't like it anymore. I don't like bashing them. I wish I didn't have to bash them, but I see no other option at this point. Now, 2022, excluding now CGC and thinking about PSA, there is a very strong likelihood that we're going to see a drop in grading prices again. Right now, we're at $100 per card. You know, they're saying that they're hoping to get to bulk by June. I think that's highly unlikely. But to see another 50% price increase by the middle of 2022, I see that as being a very high likelihood. So seeing $50 grading again by June and July 2022, very likely. Then, you know, going into the end of 2022 to like October, November, December timeline, to see potentially $30 to $20 grading for PSA open back up Is this like something I think is possible, seeing how on January 1st going to be at $100? Yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility. Do I think we're going to get back to like the $10 bulk? No, I don't think we're going to get there. But I think we're going to start to see lower tiers there. So that's going to be very interesting.